Vloggers make vlogging look so easy, but if you've ever tried vlogging yourself, you probably already know it's not nearly as easy as it looks. In this video, I'm going to show you the ultimate compact vlogging setup that I use when I make travel vlogs. Spoiler alert, ultimate doesn't have to be complicated. Hi everyone, welcome to another Tech Talk with Samir, where I talk about anything and everything related to technology in my life. I'm working hard every week to pump out these videos on a consistent basis, so please subscribe to the channel to help me grow this thing. I think it's safe to say that everyone at some point while browsing around on YouTube ran into a Casey Neistat vlog. He does such a great job at immersing the audience into his life that you actually feel part of it as you're watching. His vlogs are more than just creative cinematic videos. What makes his vlog special is the content itself. It's the candid moments that you can't really plan for. But let's face it, not all of us can be Casey Neistat. Not all of us are comfortable talking in front of a camera in public, especially if it's a large DSLR on a GorillaPod with a shotgun mic like Casey's setup. Back in 2018, I had the chance to travel to Southeast Asia and visit a few places that I've always wanted to see in person. To document the adventures, I decided that I would vlog the trip to bring back some memories that I could look back at down the road. At the time, I had a cheap $40 action cam from Amazon and I decided to vlog with that. It was small and compact, so it didn't feel as intimidating to use it when I was walking around in public, especially in a foreign country. That being said, the quality of the footage was quite terrible. There was no sort of stabilization on the camera and you could barely hear the audio. So much so that in one of my vlogs, I ended up putting subtitles to make sure that everyone can at least understand what's going on. But even then, I still look back at those vlogs and think about how much of a great time we had. This goes to show how the content of the video is more important than the video quality when it comes to vlogs. But that didn't mean that I was just going to settle with having just crappy quality videos with good content. After I tested the waters with vlogging on that trip, I decided to improve the quality a bit. I realized that the videos on my iPhone 7 were actually quite nice in comparison to the cheap action cam. So I figured that I would vlog my next trip with my phone. One bonus thing about a phone is that it has cameras on both sides. So you can film what's in front of you and then switch to filming yourself while having the screen face you the whole time. But one thing I had to address was the audio. Turns out the iPhone switches which microphone it uses depending on which camera is being used. This wasn't ideal for vlogging, especially if I wanted to show something in front of me while talking. I decided to invest in a Rode Video Micro shotgun mic. This mic would always face me regardless of which camera on the phone I was using. This led me into a bit of a rabbit hole where I pretty much had to build a rig so that I can mount the microphone on the phone. So I got a small cold shoe mount for the phone. While I was at it, I got a small Manfrotto Pixie tripod. This would allow me to not only hold the camera, but I'd also be able to set it down in places to make time lapses. Without even realizing, I already had a vlogging rig that I was dreading to begin with. That being said, for whatever reason, when it's a phone that I'm filming with, it feels a lot less intimidating since everyone pretty much has their phones out for taking pictures and videos in touristy places. However, the dead cat on the microphone did catch some attention.
I thought you were carrying a little dog.
Oh. Then again, I'd be curious too if I saw something like that and I didn't know what it was. It definitely sticks out when attached to a small device like a phone. One issue that I had with this setup is that the quality of the front-facing camera on my iPhone 7 was much worse than the main camera. So when I was switching between the two cameras, the video quality wasn't very consistent, especially in low light situations. When DJI first announced their Osmo Pocket camera, after watching some reviews, I decided to buy one. It seemed to me like the perfect vlogging camera. You can have the same camera turn around mechanically to face the front and the back. Also, the built-in gimbal makes the footage a lot more stable than what I could achieve with the phone. I made a few vlogs with it and I was quite happy with the footage. But it did have its own set of problems. First of all, it felt quite fragile. Every time I used it, I felt that I needed to be extra careful so that I don't break the gimbal. And with vlogs being somewhat candid, it's hard to be careful at all times. Also, the camera wasn't as wide as I would have liked. When holding it at arm's length, it felt that it was too zoomed into my face. And trust me, you want to be as far away from my face as possible. Also, it struggled quite a bit to acquire focus a lot of times. As fate would have it, I ended up losing the Osmo Pocket at the airport in Toronto in 2019. By that time, DJI had already released their action camera, the DJI Osmo Action. It was quite an interesting take at an action camera as it was one of the first mainstream ones with a front-facing screen. So instead of just going ahead and buying another Osmo Pocket, I decided to change it up a bit and get the Osmo Action instead. After trying it out, I realized that perhaps I had it wrong the whole time. Perhaps instead of having two cameras on a device for vlogging, all I needed was a device with two screens. This camera also feels a lot more durable since it's an action camera designed to be put through extreme conditions. It's waterproof, can be easily mounted on anything with a GoPro mount, and just more versatile in general. DJI typically does a good job of improving its products after its release by pushing out firmware updates, and the Osmo Action was no exception. From the first time I got it to now, they fixed several issues as well as added a bunch of new features. One of my favorite features that they eventually added was hyperlapses. I use it quite a bit during travel vlogs when I'm walking through some interesting places. The camera is also great for making time lapses and slow motion clips. So when vlogging, you have quite a few ways to add some interesting B-roll footage with this camera. Luck would have it that I would return to Southeast Asia soon after getting this camera, and here's some footage from that trip. I read online that that's the world's largest indoor waterfall, and it's at an airport of all places. It's quite a stark difference between the quality of the videos from my first trip to Asia to this one. And to top it all off, I threw in some drone footage to supplement the videos I got from the Osmo Action. This tiny little camera can actually shoot videos at 4K 60 frames per second. My brand new Nikon Z6 II can't even do that just yet. Although I gotta admit, I've never actually shot at 4K for any of my vlogs, since I didn't have a fast enough computer to edit 4K footage until recently. But having 4K capability does give you much more flexibility on how you shoot, even if you don't actually plan on publishing in 4K. With the dual screens, it's really easy to switch from one screen to the other depending on what I'm shooting. Although the front screen is very tiny, it works just fine for checking whether you're in frame. So what about microphone? Well, honestly, I stopped using the Rode Video Micro ever since I stopped using the iPhone 7 for vlogging. Both the Osmo Pocket and the Osmo Action actually have fairly decent microphones for vlogging purposes. The only issue with it is that it actually picks up sounds from all directions. So if you're in a noisy environment, you may pick up more than just your voice. Also, the mics sometimes struggle in windy environments. It does have a wind noise reduction feature, but it tends to also wipe out your voice when it's trying to eliminate the wind noise. There's a good chance this is the highest point I've ever been at in my lifetime. It's crazy. I do have the microphone adapter that allows me to plug in an external mic. I even have a special housing for the camera that allows me to attach accessories like microphones to the camera. But every time I've put on the Rode Video Micro on it, it adds so much bulk to the overall setup that I end up taking it off right away. Also, since this microphone is designed to pick up sounds from one direction, if I keep flipping the camera back and forth, I also have to flip the microphone to ensure it still picks up my voice. I've just found it too much of a hassle to actually use it while traveling. In the future, I may try using my recently purchased Rode Wireless Go as the microphone setup for vlogging, but that also has some downsides. For example, if I'm having a conversation with someone in a vlog, the Wireless Go will only pick up my voice. So we'll see. I may still try it out and see if I can leverage it somehow. Initially, I had doubts about the stabilization compared to a gimbal, but boy was I in for a surprise. The Rocksteady stabilization feature on the Osmo Action actually gives the Osmo Pocket's gimbal a run for its money. It does crop in a bit when stabilization is turned on, but is still wide enough to have a good perspective when holding it at arm's length. During a recent trip to Colorado, I accidentally turned off the stabilization, and that's when I really noticed how big of a difference it makes. Without the stabilization, the footage was virtually useless. Thankfully, I noticed it pretty quickly and was able to turn it on again before too long. So what does my actual vlogging setup look like now? Well, for the most part, I just keep the DJI Osmo Action in my pocket by itself and just pull it out when recording vlog content. I do still keep the Manfrotto Pixie tripod in my backpack whenever I need to set the camera down somewhere. I actually keep the Osmo Action's included housing mounted onto the tripod so that I can just easily pop the camera in and take it out whenever I need to. It's a bit of a hassle to unscrew the GoPro mount from the housing every time, so keeping the housing mounted onto the tripod kinda solves that problem. Am I ruling out using my mirrorless camera for vlogging down the road? Not entirely. I'm really impressed by the Z6 II's face detect autofocus, so there may be occasions when I mix in some footage from that camera into my vlogs. But since the Z6 II doesn't have a flip out screen, it likely will not be my primary vlogging camera. So are there other options? Yes, of course, there's always other options. In fact, GoPro's recent Hero 9 camera finally incorporated a front-facing screen to rival the Osmo Action. And from the reviews, it seems like it's a great camera. But with the Hero 9, you're likely looking to spend over $400 for it. Since the Osmo Action has been around for a while, I've seen it go on sale for less than $200 recently. And honestly, for less than half the price, you still get a very comparable camera to the GoPro Hero 9. If you're interested in checking out some of my vlogs, I'll link my personal channel in the description of this video. I gotta warn you though, I'm not very good at vlogging. Like I said, I mostly just do it to document my adventures for my own viewing down the road. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for my upcoming content. I hope you're all staying safe, and I'll see you again on the next one.